What's going on? How y'all doing? So this video gonna be about how Toni Kukoc said if he played today, he'd be Luka Doncic. And I had mixed reaction about it. He was bad in the Euro leagues. I'm not gonna even front. If you get a chance to see that old footage with him and Petrovic going at each other, Petrovic ate him for breakfast, though Petrovic was a better player to me. But Toni was flexible and versatile. I always say he's flexible and versatile, but NBA level, he played good. He played good in systems, but it only worked in Phil Jackson's system with Jordan and Pippen. His style of play, if you're draining the clock down, then you're laxed on defense, that's going to work against you. He had a good all-around game. I don't quite know if he could get to the full zenith, though, that Luka Doncic does as far as rebounds and assists, though. That's the thing. His rebounding was out for offensive rebounding. He got boards, and his assist was nice, but he didn't score a lot, and he wasn't, like that kind of a factor. People are going to say, well, you're ahead of your time and your curve. Well, no, Ginobili came up in the OOs, and he made himself established. You just found a way to work the game into yourself. That's the reality. Dirk came out in the late 90s. Cats always looking for ways to try to say, well, had he been out ahead of this and that. When I see Petrovic or I saw Sabonis, I know they could have played over here back then. Toni Kukoc, I don't really get the full scope because he was one of those guys that, to me, as good as he was, he didn't always put himself in the situation. When he was with Philadelphia, Larry Brown had a problem with him rolling. Him and Iverson, were at odds and stuff. But the thing about it is Larry Brown's system was guard friendly, and it did push you to push the rock. So he just didn't really fit in. And that's another thing. He kind of came as a six man off the bench. That was not that start because actually Phil Jackson had pretty much had it right. When you run the triangle offense, if you think about it, him, Jordan, and Pippen, if it's all systems go, he could have started. He would have been a good fit. He would have been able to do something, Like when Ron Harper, out the injuries, took out his offense, he still had his defense. He had something to back it up. Kukoc was a really good fit, and he helped the Bulls in that title run, especially against, with the Sonics, with the size and the length off the bench, and against the Jazz. Again, versatility off the bench. But starting wise, his engine, he was good. But when you start saying like you would have been like Luka and all that, well, I expect your stats to offensively be more like that. And he wasn't, he wasn't that kind of a scorer. He does have skill set. Let's not get it twisted. But when I think back to when I remember him playing, I didn't get this would have, like, when you say someone is ahead of the curve, you get glimpses of what they were when they were actually playing. I didn't feel that way. So when you say that, I'm thinking like Pistol Pete, because I know that if you put a 3-point line and what he could do with the handles, I could see that. Jerry West, obviously a 3-point line, you could see that. Elgin Baylor, you put, with all the Oscar Robertson. Those are guys that when I say they were ahead of the curve, But no matter what era you in, you still display your best. Like Kareem did, my cats did. So to me, if he played today, he'd probably be somewhere in Sacramento, somewhere handling the rock. But would he be that deep of a player? Would he been anything more than a second tier cat? I can't really say. And I sure as heck don't think he would have been better than no Luka Doncic, because Luka can flat out score, with the best of them. That's not his problem. And he can do it at a certain volume. I didn't see Toni Kukoc running the team. That's the big difference right there. Individualized as a player and perhaps a situation, but he has to have an alpha. That is the problem right there where I see the difference. And when people get upset, I say, yeah, you got to have an alpha. But anyway, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm all one time. Peace.